Hello everybody and welcome to the 7th episode of the Battalion Wars 2 strategy guide, and this is the first skirmish episode, and this time I will be with Togami.
Hello everybody.
And we will be playing the first skirmish mission, melee. So as always, I always do the two, in assault I was making side A and side B. In skirmish, let's say it's the same thing, even if sometimes, for example, the gunships, it's not the same for the western frontier or the tundra side, but in general, let's say it's the same thing for both sides. But even if it's the same, we will do the two sides. Okay, so melee. I always say that melee is the most, let's say, random map, because there's no facilities, there's no factory, there's no airbase, there's no barracks. It's just you with your units. So you have a heavy tank, 4 grunts, 2 bazookas and 1 flame. For me, the first 20-30 seconds are the most important of the game, because normally in this map, if you win the first combat, let's say the first battle, you win the game normally. So your strategy really depends in the strategy of the other player. For example, if the player 1 is sending the heavy tank, you will use the heavy tank or the bazookas. If you see that the other player is using the bazookas, you will be sending the grunts or the flame, for example. Sometimes, for example, we usually focus on the heavy tank because it's, let's say, the most dangerous unit. But sometimes I have seen players that focus on infantry. I don't know why, but it works sometimes. If you really do it well and perfectly, you can just blow away the whole infantry with a flame if you're able to avoid everything. It really depends of the player in front of you. So I tend to use always the same strategy. For example, using the bazookas. Why? Because the bazooka is tinier. It's faster than the heavy tank, and he can avoid more easily the shots of the heavy tank. So, for example, you can sneak around and kill the heavy tank, and even if the enemy kills your bazooka, they will just win like 5 or 10 points instead of 40 or 50, which is a lot. Okay, so I think that in this mission you have really to adapt to the other one. So, for example, have you ever played this mission before?
Yes, I have.
So what do you usually do?
Usually, I either use my bazooka or my flame vets to go up in the front line and keep my tank towards the rear and my grunts in between. That way I can deal the most damage in the actual slugging off.
Okay.
And after most of the infantry on the other side, either if they or I have been thinned out, the heavy tank will do the rest of the work.
Okay. Just if you see that the heavy tank is not used by the player, so it's an AI control heavy tank, focus on the heavy tank, because the heavy tank won't be able to avoid the bazooka shots. And other thing, very important thing, maybe you saw it in my videos. If you saw my videos, when I'm facing a heavy tank with a heavy tank, or anything that shots something like a projectile, like a light tank or heavy tank or bazooka, like a single shot. For example, if the heavy tank is going to the right, if my shot in my screen land on the heavy tank, there won't be any damage. Why? Because we're playing online and there's like a little delay in the connection. So if, for example, I have an enemy heavy tank is going to the right, you have to shoot right in front of that heavy tank, so a little bit more to the right from his position. That means that in your screen the shot will continue and will avoid the heavy tank, but in your screen the shot will land on you. Okay, so this is very important, because one of the main situations that you will face in this map is the heavy tank against heavy tank. So instead of trying to touch the heavy tank, you have to shoot in front of the heavy tank. This applies the further he is. For example, if he is in front of you, you can't shoot directly on the heavy tank. Why? Because even if there's a connection delay, the distance is so short that the shot will land on both screens. But for example, if it's at 10 or 20 meters, you have to shoot in front of. Okay? And very important, when you're using the heavy tank, don't go in the same direction, or don't go in a uniform direction. Try to change orientations, heights, speeds, etc. to avoid the heavy tank shots. Okay?
Using RPG towers in the campaign is a good practice for that.
Exactly. That's exactly that. It's a very good practice to wait for the shoot to come. And you are not forced to always shoot at the main ratio, at the same fire ratio, sorry, because sometimes, I mean, if you always shoot at the same fire ratio, at long range, obviously, because if you are at short range, it is obvious that you have to shoot the fastest you can. But if you're at long range, if you always shoot at the same fire ratio, it's easier to avoid. So try to dance with the enemy heavy tank and find when he's gonna change direction, where, and there you shoot. Okay? So it's quite difficult, let's say, but it's just a question of practice. So we're gonna play. This is a theory, but while we are playing, I could add some commentaries or advices. Okay. Last but not least, there are some players that once they won the first confrontation, they go way behind, like at the beginning of the map. I think that's a very dirty tactic. I won't never suggest any of my friends or Battalion Wars friends to do that, because I think that's not kind. It's really dirty to do that. So I always tell people, so either you wait or either you attack, but you won't go behind, because that's you have to know that melee is a very short time mission, and the map from point A to point B, it's like 1 minute. So 1 minute, it's a lot of time. Knowing that you're going to a position where you are vulnerable because there are like 6 autoguns, so you will surely lose. So the player that is defending his own position will surely win. So don't do that. At least don't do that with me. Do what you want, but not here. So I will put whichever, because we're gonna change. And in this mission, there's not really a difference, because, for example, in Border Patrol, there is a difference between the Tundra gunship and the Western Frontier gunship, where the Western Frontier gunship rockets go way further than the Tundra ones. So, for example, that's a difference. That's why in some tournaments that we organized in the past, Border Patrol was banned, because there was a huge advantage for the Western Frontier gunship.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, melee is one of the most random missions, because it really depends of the beginning. So for example, if you're going with the flame and in front you have the heavy tank, you will lose the advantage. But if you're going to the flame and 2 bazookas are coming to you, you will get the advantage. So it really depends. Either you see the map, either you just go and pray. So yeah, 1 heavy tank, 4 grunts, no, 3 grunts. I thought it was 4. No, it's 4 because I think the 4th grunt is behind the heavy tank. So 2 bazookas and a flame. So yeah, 4 grunts. So I usually put the high camera so I can see everything that is happening. So you're using the flame, and as I can see, you're not using the heavy tank, so I can damage it easily. And I can send the grunts to you, because you will have to decide either me or the grunts. And there you go. And now that the heavy tank is destroyed, I can go with the flame with no problem. So for example, I can say you're using the bazooka, so I'm letting the heavy tank behind, so you won't damage it. Oh, you killed the... Oh! Ooh, the flame just blow away the whole infantry. Okay. And now I'm shooting in front of you. Oh yeah, be careful with the wires. There's some wires in the map, so be careful with that. Ah, do you see? I'm blocked. Now is the chance. Okay. Aha. Heavy tank against grunts. The heavy tank is here, so you have to choose either bazooka. Yeah, just choose the heavy tank. Okay. It's quite difficult to shoot. No. There you go. There you land it. No.
It's time for the counterattack.
There you go. Okay, the heavy tank should respawn in a few seconds. There you go. No. Oh, Scheiße! Okay. So you see, the first combat is really important. That's where I got the advantage, and I was allowed to just push, because I knew that the units won't come at the same time. So heavy tank, okay, heavy tank, bazooka, bazooka, flame, flame, because they won't come at the same time. So once you break the formation, it's your opportunity to just rush and then block the enemy at the front, instead of going away and wasting time. So we can click yes, so we can swap sides, and so I will be taking the Solar Empire. So obviously it's not easy to win just hearing the advices, so you have to take them. use them, apply them, and maybe adapt them, because this is a strategy, but it doesn't mean it will work with everyone in the same manner. Okay, so we are sending. Okay. And no bazookas. Okay. So that was more tense than the other one, so that's better. But again, there's always a little bit of luck here. Ha, got you. And done. And no bazookas. Oh, scheiße. We kill each other. Ah.
That was a lot closer than the last match.
Yes. Yes. Whoa, you almost got me. What?
Watch out behind you.
Ah, that was way closer. Way closer. Okay. And that was, you were really better on the shots of the heavy tank, so that's a very good thing. That's what you're supposed to do. So, you will see my videos that I was shooting in front of you when you were far away. The more you're close, the less I have to shoot at the side, on the side. Okay? Well, here is the first episode of the skirmish section of the strategy guide of Battalion Wars 2. So I hope you all like it, and we will see each other really soon for the next episode, Exchange of Fire. So thank you a lot to everyone. Share this video as much as possible. Leave a like and a comment if you have any questions. And see you soon. Bye.